We're gonna fix our mod folders. As the flawed simmer that I am, I have not had time to do my Sims maintenance, which means doing specific things in the game has become kind of hard because I don't have the mods that I'm used to relying on. A lot of you guys, you don't know what mod maintenance means. And it's okay, there's no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. We all started somewhere. And I feel like us veteran simmers, we have a tendency to just yell at you guys, do your mod maintenance. Make sure you're updating your mods. If you don't do it right, you're gonna break your game. And if you break your game, it's your fault. And I think we do a lot of yelling at you guys.
But how do you get inside?
Yeah, it's all crushy looking.
It isn't put up yet, you idiots.
And we don't really do a lot of sitting you guys down and showing you guys what it means to maintain a mod folder. Get to your computer, open it up. Open up that mod folder because we're about to dig in there. And we're going to do it together. We're going to hold each other's hand. It's time to clean some stuff up. I'm going to show you guys how to do it and how it's done and how to keep it organized a little bit. Let's do it right now. This is my mod daycare folder. It is themed like a daycare center. And this is where I take care of my mods. I have six folders here. Do-over is where I keep my saves. And I currently have a save from before I updated my game this week. That's my current save folder. I want to start by reminding you guys how to save your save files. Your save file, your backup save file should be somewhere that is not in your Sims 4 save file. I want to preface that off by saying that. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but you know, some people don't know what backup means. Backup means that it's somewhere safe, that if anything were to happen to your hard drive, that you would still have the information, right? So if you have an external hard drive, a flash drive, something like that, it's best to keep it on something like that. What you're gonna do when you want to back up your save files before you update your game is you're gonna find your Sims 4 folder. It's gonna be somewhere that says Electronic Arts. If you go in your Electronic Arts folder, it's gonna be in your saves file, same Sims 4 folder. Wherever games typically end up on your C drive, that's where it's going to be. Also, if you go into your Sims 4, your EA thingy, and go into manage, you can also find out, I think if you go into properties, yeah, it'll show you exactly where your Sims 4 folder is. So it might be different on every computer, but if you go to the EA app, it'll show you exactly where to find it. All right, so once you find that folder, you are going to take out a few files from this folder. You are going to copy your tray file, screenshots, saves, recorded videos, and mods. Those are the files you want. While you're in here, you should also go ahead and, we're probably going to be updating mods. So go ahead and delete this local cache thumb file here, because you don't need it. You need to go ahead and take it out so the game can repopulate a new one. That'll just help the game run a little bit smoother when it restarts. You're gonna copy or cut the files if you want to out of here, and you're gonna put them in that other folder we were talking about. That do-over folder, that's what I call mine. That's where you're putting these. Here I have all of those files. The only one that you're going to see missing is my mods folder. That's because I put it somewhere else. I usually put it in the nurse's office. That's where I'm going to find all of my mods that are current, that I just took out of my game. You don't have to put them in a separate folder than your backups. I just do this because I know I'm going to be in and out of the folder, and I know I'm going to be updating these files anyway, and it just helps to have them all in one place away from everything else. Now that you have all of your files in your do-over folder, those are your backups. You don't have to mess with those anymore. You don't have to look at them anymore. You can forget they exist until you need them. I tend to keep at least 3 just in case, but I have honestly never needed the extra backups. I'm just paranoid, so I tend to do it that way. Just in case your gaming was to ever get corrupted or something like that, it would help to have backups like that, because then at least you lose maybe a few months progress versus a few years progress. But it's whatever you're comfortable with keeping up with. I'm gonna follow my own advice, come back in here, delete this local thumbnail catch file, and there should be a resource file in this mods folder here, but I already deleted mine, so it's not here. That's another file. When you delete your thumbnail cache, you will want to delete that too. The game repopulates a new one every time you open the game, so don't worry about it. It's just, like I said, it helps the game find things a little bit faster and run a little bit smoother because it's not working off of old information. It's time to update some mods, y'all. And that is where the fun starts, I guess. The easiest way to know what mods are going to be broken is simply by knowing the creators who make the mods and knowing what kind of mods you're putting in your game. So there's gameplay mods and there's CC. CC is custom content. CC is stuff like build by, cast, hairs, clothing, furniture, lighting, all that kind of stuff. All the cool stuff that you want in your game. That's all CC. That's custom content. That stuff can break. It's less likely to break between updates, but it's not impossible. So that's something, like, usually when you're going into your mods folder to figure out what the problem is, I don't always go straight to my CC because that's probably not going to be the problem child. The problem children are probably going to be your gameplay mods. So things like extreme violence, things like UI cheats, things like anything that fundamentally changes the way the game is supposed to work is probably going to break. So MC Command Center, I always assume is going to be broken. Same for extreme violence. More columns. Oh my God, I love my extra columns, but they're always going to break. Always. Those are the mods that I'm always going to go to first to check. So I haven't checked to see if MC Command Center is updated. This is where it comes in handy to follow the creators. If you have a social media and you make mods and I've downloaded your mods, I probably follow you because I want to know when the mod is broken. So we're going to go to the MC Command Center website. You just go over here to download MCC and download MCCC, MC Command Center. There's a lot of C's in there. There's always going to be a patch notes, release notes type thing on their website. So this one says that it has been tested to be working with all expansions and game packs up to Enchanted by Nature, and the patch released on August 19th. So that was the latest patch. So that means I know that I can safely go and download this mod. Always read the change logs. You never know what the creator is putting in there. Just like you would check out the patch notes from EA, check out the change logs for the mods that you're downloading. So we're going to go ahead and download that one. A lot of these creators have Discord servers. I am not in most of them. But if you have some of your favorite simmers are really dedicated to keeping up with like mod updates, and I'm sure, guys, you can find someone who will have all that stuff in their server in one place. I am not that creator, unfortunately, but Luna Marie specifically love being in their server because their community is on it. But there's other like creators, the creators of these mods, they also have their own servers. So if just being in servers, lurking in servers is your thing, go ahead and join these creator servers so that you can be the first one to know. Okay, so who's next? So up here, 20th Century Plumbob, I'm not really concerned about theirs. These are, everything I have from them is a map replacement. So those are really just like the pictures that you see when you go to each map. Those typically are not going to break. If I'm worried about it, I'll just go over. They have a Patreon page. That's another place most of your creators, your Sims creators are going to be. Typically, I'm just going to go straight to their Tumblr page. Their Patreon page, and see with my eyes if there are any updates. And I think there are some updates for map replacements, but I think there are new maps that I just haven't downloaded yet. I don't think there's any updates to the current ones. But they do have a master page of all of their map replacements. If that's something you're interested in, it's a complete aesthetic mod. It doesn't do anything but just change what the maps look like. But it's really cool to me. I like the less cartoony looking maps. But I don't think I need to update those. So I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to go to this podcast mod. This mod, I don't even know why I don't need to update it. Is there anything on their page about it? It says it was updated on the 14th. Oh no, this was last year. Okay, so this mod is old and I don't think it's been updated in a while. And I think that's why I was thinking about deleting it, because I downloaded it for a very specific purpose. In this case, since like I know it's an older mod that hasn't been updated in like a year, this is one that I would keep my eye on, knowing, like, just keep a mental note of, or a physical note if you keep notes about your mods. It's not a bad idea to do that. That's when you keep an eye on and be like, okay, I know this is an outdated mod. Let me know, like, let me be cognizant of what's going on in my game, so that if something does go wrong, that mod is probably one of the first things I'm going to look at. Let's go check out Sacrificial. They are also on Patreon. That's usually the first place I go for their updates. They also have a website that is kept well up to date. Okay, so this is Sacrificial's website, and they have a bunch of like gameplay mods, storytelling mods. If you want crazy, chaotic things to happen in your game and you don't know how to make them happen, Sacrificial is probably the place to be. Like, I can't tell you. Like, there's so much. They have so many amazing mods, and I wouldn't recommend downloading them all at one time. But I will say that, like, Extreme Violence is a greatest hit. It stays in my game. I usually don't get rid of it for very long. But you don't have to have Extreme Violence. There's also a ton of other gameplay mods. So go check out their website if you haven't already. I love that all of their mod updates are right here in the center. It says that updated all of my mods for 8.19 patch. There's the number, the update number. Mods that didn't break and didn't require an update were the Sacrificial Pie menu, all of the loading screens. And then it just goes to load the stuff that you don't have to update. But everything else probably needs an update. So I'm only here for Extreme Violence version 2.6.3. That's what I'm here for. I'm gonna go ahead and download that. An easy way to keep track of your mods and what version of the mod you have is to make sure that you hold on to that number in your mod folder. Like, so some modders who are really great about putting it in the name of the file. Like these, I don't have to worry about because they were there before. But if you pay attention when you're downloading, sometimes there's a number there that they didn't put on the actual file. Make sure you just copy and paste that onto the actual folder name. And that's how you'll know which version of the file you have, so that if a problem arises, you'll know whether your mod is out of date or not. So when you go to download things, now I know I have version 2.6.3 when the version I had in my game was version 6.2.1. So technically I'm 2 versions behind, because again, I am a flawed simmer. Sometimes I get it wrong too. Unzip your files. Move them over to your mod folder. Very important. Very important. I think some people get lost there too. What I'm doing is unzipping the files that we just downloaded. So the MC Command Center, I'm unzipping Extreme Violence. Okay, so when you unzip those files, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and move them on over to your actual mod folder. And that's how you update your mods. Congratulations. You have now updated your first 2 mods. Taking your mods out before you update a game is very important. It takes away the risk of your game getting corrupted, because what mods do is they interfere with the game code. And so if you're updating the game code and there's code that's not supposed to be there, it could corrupt the game file that's already there. So when you take your mods out, it gives the base code time to update. And then when you update your mods, that updated code goes back into the game. This is why I say keep your mod folder small, because then you don't have to go through a whole lot. Oftentimes you do need to slow down and read what you're downloading, because there will be multiple versions of the same mod. You can't put them all both in the same folder, because it'll cause problems, because they're essentially the same code trying to conflict with each other. Lot 51 is a overall mod. It pretty much is one of the basis mods for like everything else. So if you are modding, there are 2 mods you're probably gonna have, because most mods need it to work: XML Injector and Lot 51. These mods very rarely break. You always want to double check to make sure they're up to date, but unless it's a very huge update, which has happened like at least twice in the last few months, Just know that if these mods break, everything else is broken. Don't even worry about whether anything else is up to date. If it's an update that breaks those 2 mods and you hear anything of anyone saying, oh, Lot 51 is broke, XML Injector is broke, everything is broke. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and take the mod folder out and honestly just open up a new save file, because it's probably going to be a while. Just Google Lot 51. It'll come up because it's that important. What we're looking for is the core library. It was updated last on August the 12th, so that means it did get an update. If you have CurseForge, this will automatically update on CurseForge, and there's a lot of mods that will. So it's good to have CurseForge if that's your thing, because then most of the bigger mods, like the ones that we've been talking about so far, you don't even have to worry about checking, because CurseForge will just automatically push the updated files to your mod folder. So the next important one that I'm going to go look for is XML Injector, which I don't expect to have an update, but like I said, it doesn't hurt to check, because I didn't expect for Lot 51 to have an update. So XML Injector hasn't been updated since July. It's on version 4, and that's not, if sometimes XML Injector goes like a year without an update. Sometimes you need to update it every few months. It just depends. So I'm going to take XML Injector and put that one back in my mods folder. I'm going to take Lot 51, since I already downloaded the replacement for it, and delete that one. And then we're going to go unpack that Lot 51 folder and pull it on over here. So another Patreon creator. The last update for this one was 7.2, so it means it probably didn't break last time. Version 1.49 is the most recent one, which is a surprise, because most of the UI thingies break. Sometimes, just to make sure, I'll go to the main page of that creator, because first of all, columns is always going to break too, but it looks like it might didn't this time, because 7.1 was the last time this one was updated. So either it's broken currently, or it didn't need to update last time. But it was updated for the Enchanted by Nature patch, which was a bigger patch, so it might be okay. I typically like 5 columns. 6 columns is always buggy. It doesn't always work, so I always settle for the 5 columns version of that package. And then 1.49 UI cheats. That's that resource file I was telling you guys about. Since it got moved with the mod file, I'm just going to go ahead and delete it, because it's going to be repopulated when the game opens again. I'm going to put this one, this missing Plumbob override. This is really only for when I am recording content. So I'm going to put this one in my timeout, my playground. Not my playground, my timeout folder for right now. So timeout is a folder that I'm not using the mod right now, but it doesn't really need. It could need to be updated, probably doesn't need to be updated, but I'm not currently using it, so I'm just gonna take it out. I don't even think I ever actually finished the tour of the mod folder. We went over do-overs, that's where our backups are. Timeout is a mods I'm not currently using but don't need to be updated. The playground is mods that probably were in the nurse's office, but I've determined that they're not a threat to anything, so I can go ahead and put them back in the game. This is only when I have a lot of mods to manage and I need all of these extra places. We're not really using these right now because I really just don't have the need for them, but they do come in handy when you have a lot of more mods than what we have right now to manage. The nurse's office is for current mods that are questionable, like we just had an update. I don't know what's broken, what's not. Everything's going in the nurse's office. We threw it all in there. Loading screens is for aesthetic mods like basically the loading screens, the menus, stuff like that. These are loading screens that I'm not currently using, but I really like them. And so maybe I want to switch them out, but I don't want to go looking for them again. So there's a folder for those.
Customization.
Genius.
And then homeroom is, like I said, probably where I will have mods that I either have downloaded and haven't yet put in the game yet. Maybe I'm not currently doing mod things, but I saw that there was an update for it, so I went ahead and downloaded it, and I needed to put it someplace safe until it's time to put it in the game. Okay, so T-Max mods typically don't need updating. I usually don't go straight to these as problem children. There are times when Twisted Mexi mods need to be updated. They have a Patreon, but I typically go straight to their website. if you're familiar with Tool or Better Build Buy and all that, you know this website. You've been here. You probably spent a whole lot of time here. I don't think that we're going to need to update the rest of these mods. I think that these should be fine. If I do load into the game and there's a problem, I know where to go because I've already updated everything else. Actually, you know what? Let me click here. So I think that's the easiest way to see if they did update something is to go to their actual Patreon page. But these are May posts, so it doesn't look like they've updated these in a while. And these are mods I don't really expect to break because they typically don't. We spent enough time on this. I think you guys kind of get the point. But if not, please feel free to ask questions. If you've been taking notes this whole time, write these things down. Sims After Dark, Deaderpool.
Of course!
This is another place where you can keep up to date about like all of the mods, whether they've been updated or not. All the creators just in one place if that's more your speed. I know like threads like this, old school threads like this aren't everyone's jam anymore, but it is a good place. It is a good place to look.
Write that down, write that down!
My method is not going to be you guys' method. The method that works for you is something you're going to develop over time. But this is basically a basic way to keep track of your mod folders. There's much more sophisticated ways to do it. But yeah, that's kind of like how I do it. And I also have a list. I keep an Excel spreadsheet of all of my mods or the creators that I get mods from. But there are so many resources. It's what the internet is for. Like, use it to your advantage.
That was great, Squidward!